First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. In this particular video, I want to talk about that Crown Royal. Here you have it. They were saying things were opening back up, cases went down, so forth and so on. People were saying peace and safety. Everybody thought all of their actions meant something when they were going out and getting the juice. They were wearing their mask and all of that. But now you have it. The CD, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say the name because, YouTube tripping. Deeply concerned about Crown Royal pandemic trajectory as cases rise again. Now, this was on the 26th. This was yesterday. And this is from CBS News. And the steps that now colleges and places are taking shows you that their intentions was to never open things back up. I always like to give the analogy of a bone constrictor. When a bone constrictor wraps around you, it gets that first squeeze on. All right, now that's you and the economy getting locked down. That bone constrictor is their plan, moving toward the New World Order. So it gets that first squeeze on, then it takes a break and gives you a break. Then it gets that second squeeze, the second little lockdown, second wave. And it's tighter than the first one, that second one. Then it breaks and, give you a break. But then it wraps around even further and gives you that final squeeze, that death squeeze, which is this third wave. All right? And there's no taking a break after this. And this is what they've been planning on doing for a long time. It's a guy out there, I forgot his name, but he been so-called predicting this since like a year ago. And what I mean so-called predicting it is because, Esau, he has all of this information out there. He has these plans written down in certain places. So if you go read them, you know what they're going to do. So they're looking at this guy like he's psychic or something, looking at certain people like they're psychic, and he's just like, well, no, we're not. We just go and we read the papers that they publish. All right? But here you have it. A lot of Jake, because that's the only people I'm concerned about is Jake. Say peace and safety. When we talking about the Crown Royal and how it's going to get bad and how they're going to take power from people and their rights and stuff like that, we get looked at as prophets of doom, which we are. And they trying to say it like in a negative sense. But 1 Thessalonians 5:3 says what we've been saying. Which we've been telling them, hey, things may look like it's going to go back to normal, but Esau's not going to allow you to. He's going to give you the illusion that things is going this way, just so he could come back and put them vice grips on you again, just so he can coil around you further and then put that death squeeze on you. 1 Corinthians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. That's right. Now this video we about to get into, you seeing them take it a step further. All right, with the restrictions and things that has to be done before you come back to campus and things like that. All right, they have this thing called contact tracing. Contact tracing is basically one of the key ingredients to just, I would say, bring this Crown Royal pandemic to another level. Contact tracing is basically if Private Joe Snuffy got a positive test and he went around to 7 stores, including a grocery store, with that contact tracing app on people's phones, which they'll be forced to have, you'll have somebody call each and every person that he possibly could have been in contact with, and they have to go home and quarantine. This is an ingredient to shut down the economy. Think about it. Because if he goes to the store at 7 a.m., they're going to contact everybody who was at that store at 7 a.m., possibly beyond that, because it could stay on the surfaces for glass and stuff like that for what did they say, like a couple days, something like that, or a week or something, right? So those people will have to go quarantine, including cashiers and people that work there. All right, now this right here is the ingredient to shut down everything. Let them get contact tracing out, which they already have the apps out. All right. So now, in order to combat people not getting or laying down with vaccine, they're having these now stores like Walmart are requiring you, not really requiring right now, but this is what they're moving towards because they even admitted it, requiring you to have credentials to prove that you laid down with vaccine. All right, and we speaking in code, that's for purposes to have our videos still remain up, because Esau's, he got certain words that you say, and it'll give your channel a flag, and they'll remove your channel or remove the video. And if they do it more than 3 times, your channel is now deleted. Some brothers is on their 5th channel, like me. But anyway, let's read this again. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them. Right, like Jake is doing right now. Everybody out for Easter, and everybody chilling, doing what they want to do, back to the strip club, and as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So get ready for that. All right.
The head of the CDC says she is, quote, deeply concerned about the trajectory of the coronavirus pandemic. Cases and hospitalizations are moving in the wrong direction. Infections in the U.S. now tally more than 30.1 million, and more than 547,000 lives have been lost in this country alone. More states say they will be opening up vaccine eligibility to all adults by next month. As of Friday morning, nearly 15% of the population was fully vaccinated. Carter Evans reports from Los Angeles.
Tonight, worries over another wave, with COVID cases on the rise in nearly half the country as states reopen and students celebrate spring break.
And we know from prior surges that if we don't control things now, there is a real potential for the epidemic curve to soar again.
This comes as a new study at select college campuses will monitor vaccinated students and their close contacts.
We'll be able to answer the very important question about whether vaccinated people get infected asymptomatically, and if they do they transmit the infection to others?
Rutgers University in New...
So you hear what he just said. Now, so if you went and you laid down with Maxine, now they trying to answer the question, the ultimate question, that are you still infected asymptomatically, which means you have it, but you don't show no side effects because you laid down with Maxine. Which that answer is going to be, you already know. I don't want you to fucking with me. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, you already know what that answer is going to be. All right. So what they're going to say is that, yeah, you still gotta wear a mask, still can't go out, can't do certain things because you're still going to be spreading the infection. This thing is never going anywhere, man. This is Esau's push. All right. Esau wants to get his New World Order off. This is the way he's going about it. So when we were saying this almost 2 years ago, I forget the time, but I remember me being in Jersey and bringing this out. The brother Bakwar Moth was bringing the article out with another brother, and this was in North. And I remember getting up speaking about Crown Royal, and this woman walked by, and she was concerned for a little bit, but as soon as she heard me say that Crown Royal, her face was like, nigga, whatever, man. I thought y'all was spitting something. Like, her face was almost condescending. Well, no, not almost. It was very condescending. And it was like, yo, I will not be scared. Hey, man, we here now, man. Hey, man, we here now. When we were saying it back then, nobody wanted to believe it. Now you see it. How about that? All right.
Jersey will now become the first known college to require students to be vaccinated before returning to campus in the fall.
I think that's a great idea because we've had over the last year about 500,000 college students get infected, and there's been about 100 deaths linked to outbreaks on college campuses.
More states are now expanding eligibility for the vaccine to all adults.
The news that I think all of us have been waiting for, all Minnesotans age 16 and above will be eligible to receive their vaccines.
47 states and the District of Columbia say that'll happen by May 1st at the latest. Just 3 states, New York, Arkansas, and Wyoming, have yet to commit. And as the country waits for the pandemic to end, there are still hopeful moments to hold on to. 39-year-old Alfredo Hercules beat COVID after spending more than 70 days in a New York hospital, finally getting to hug his family.
I haven't seen him in close to 3 months. He's happy and blessed.
Slovakia.
To be home with my girls.
Today they plan to vaccinate about 2,800 people here, and they hope to have enough vaccine next week to ramp up to their full capacity of 4,000. And they are going to need it because California is allowing everyone 50 and older to get a vaccine starting on April 1st. Lana?
Carter, so great to see those families reunited. Thank you. And Dr. Teresa Amato joins me now. She is the Director of Emergency Medicine at Long Island Jewish Forest Hills in New York. Dr. Amato, thank you for being here, and thank you for all that you do. So more states have announced plans to expand vaccine eligibility to all adults as soon as mid-April. This is very exciting. Is this actually, though, a game changer? And do you think that supply will be able to keep up with that demand?
So it's very exciting. Each day brings what seems like hopeful and really good news as far as the vaccines are concerned. I'm very thrilled professionally and personally to have them lower the age group. I'm a mom of 6 children, so I'm excited to see what they're going to be doing with children coming probably in the fall. But yeah, every day brings some good news about the vaccine. So it sounds like the supply is going to be able to cover them. It sounds like many states have committed to trying to get everyone 16 and over to be eligible very, very soon. And so I think this is all good news. I think the quicker we can get this into people's arms, the better the spring, the summer, and the fall is going to be for all of us.
So you're a mother of 6. Hats off to you. I'm a mother of 3. Let's talk about children because they're not yet eligible for vaccines. Trials are underway, but it could be next year until they're actually able to receive shots. Does this mean that we could still see kids and families with younger children having to follow these strict protocols?
So there's still a lot to be looked at when it comes to younger folks and COVID vaccines and their symptoms and their illness. It seems to be quite different than their older adult counterparts. So exciting that the major groups, Pfizer's starting to look at some studies looking at children. So we really don't have enough data yet to know what is a safe and effective dose of the COVID vaccine, but it sounds like they're really working on that right now. I don't anticipate that's going to happen too soon because we really need to get the data back, but they're doing a pretty large study looking at children. So we'll have to see. My sort of guess is children will probably be more like the fall time, maybe September, October, November, when they'll start to become eligible for the vaccine.
All right. Let's talk about asymptomatic COVID because that continues to be a huge concern. And scientists at the National Institutes of Health have launched a study on asymptomatic COVID. They're going to be tracking the virus in thousands of vaccinated college students. Tell us, what are researchers hoping to learn?
So there's been a lot of controversy over whether people who are testing positive but have absolutely no symptoms, if they are actually contagious. One of my thoughts is that sometimes I've had patients who didn't really correlate what they were feeling to a necessarily a COVID infection, just generalized weakness, just feeling kind of tired, not feeling themselves. And when they turned out to be COVID positive, they were just really surprised. So we're just not sure if it's completely, that they're asymptomatic, they have no symptoms at all, or their symptoms are mild, or they're not contributing their symptoms to COVID. So I think this study is going to really help us figure out what to do with especially younger folks who are asymptomatic, because it really does impact their schooling, their isolation. And so we would really like to know, but like the rest of us in medicine, we really want to chase the data, not just anecdotes. So this study is going to be really helpful for us to be able to really explain to families what to do with their children if they have asymptomatic COVID infections.
Like I said, this contact tracing thing is one of the key ingredients to get off this New World Order agenda. This is going to shut a lot of places down. All right, Lord willing, they get this off. But as we can see, this is the push. All right, now you have college students doing it, tracing people who laid down with vaccine to see if anybody else gets that crown royal. Hey, the answer, you already know what the answer is going to be, what their so-called research is going to bring forth.
Get fee-free overdraft up to $100 with SpotMe. Install the Chime app today and get started.
So
when you make the impossible shot, you tell your opponents.
It's interesting, Dr. Amato, because it feels like there's so much promise. There are all these studies that are taking place. The vaccinations are going up, and yet there's still so much that we don't know. And Dr. Fauci actually says that the U.S. has not yet turned the corner on this pandemic, which I think is going to be surprising to a lot of people. So what are the challenges that we still face?
So, interestingly enough, I'm very excited about the vaccines. I'm really excited about, what's coming down the pipe. But in my professional life, I have not seen the big dips and decrease in cases. We're not being inundated like we were a year ago, but we certainly are seeing daily several patients with COVID infections, symptomatic COVID infections, and some still quite sick, and unfortunately some, especially at-risk patients, unfortunately dying from this disease. It's very frustrating, although I will say most of the time when I speak to people, they can pinpoint back to a time where they were in a group or around some folks without a mask on and weren't following social distancing. So, I just keep telling people, if you really have someone in your home that's very vulnerable, it's really up to you to do your job to make sure you don't make your family members sick.
And another thing, you see that? See this nurse or doctor, whoever she is, she guilt trips you when you come back with that positive. She'll say, at some point, the people that she's talking to remember a certain time, like that one time that they didn't have a mask on or didn't social distance. That's when they contracted it. You know what I'm saying? And now they're saying that if somebody is in your home, because they've been wanting to do this for a long time, say that you should wear the mask in the home too. All right. Now, I mean, you can almost just, like, you already know where they're getting to with this. Now they want to attack you in the house. Everybody in the house got to be like this. Everybody, hey, just go across seas. They said no more than 5 in the house. One person had a party, invited somebody over, the next door neighbor over there to have dinner or whatever. The police showed up, yoked him up, took him outside, did him, how police do, because they had more than 5 people over. You already know what they going to with this, man. It's just in America, they have the Second Amendment right. It's harder to get shit off. This is why also he's going for the guns as well. All right? You got other places, the neighbors snitching, which they already got that over here in America. See something, say something. So they got that already in place. Only thing they need to do is roll out what they're doing across seas. Neighbors snitching. Oh, I saw Sister Aggie went next door for tea yesterday. Now the police is going to them and like, hey man, what's up with that, man? We got a report that you went and you had tea yesterday. And that motherfuckers is getting incriminated for going and having tea with somebody. All right? It's a guy in Canada. They came to his house and tried to arrest him from in the car. Like 20 plus police cars was outside. And he was like, why y'all trying to arrest me? Why y'all trying to arrest me? They said, because a week ago you was in a certain store. Let's call it, I ain't gonna say it, the store, but let's call it the grocery shop. Yeah, well, you was in that motherfucker last Wednesday with without a mask, and you told him you ain't want to put a mask on either. Yeah, so you under arrest. Hey man, this is coming to America. Sorry for stumbling over my words like that, but yeah, you get the point.
If you're not in an at-risk group. So, the other concern is spring break, quite frankly. I've been watching the news like everyone else. Kind of shocked and a little bit anxious about some behavior I've been seeing. I'm really hoping that does not become a super spreader, because it would really be terrible to go 6 steps back when we're really moving forward.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Teresa Malta, always appreciate you coming.
Hope that was edifying. With that, shalom.